so before this, I did my Monday night webinar. If you guys don't know, I teach every Monday night to anybody that wants to listen to me. And so I did the pitch for the fund there, right? And so now this is the next pitch that I'm pitching, because I just really want to like practice, So again, if people don't know who I am, I'm Stacy Rossetti, and I've been investing in self-storage for 5 years, and together with my husband. And then on top of that, we have been teaching people how to invest in self-storage for a couple of years now. So I'm sure a lot of my students are here. Like, I even see people from the last pitch coming on to this pitch. So that's good. So you guys are here, like you guys are listening to me and supporting me. So I really appreciate that. And I'm just trying to figure this thing out. So I've been working on this fund for like over a year, like almost a year and a half. Like, I decided in August of 2020 to start a fund. I was like, I'm gonna start a fund, and my husband's like, oh my gosh, now what are you gonna do? And and then it took me till the end of December to really kind of figure out what I was doing. And the truth is I was like, I'm gonna figure this thing out, And then what happened was, obviously I couldn't figure it out, and so I hired a consultant. His name was Ed. And Ed and I worked together to put the fund together. And he is the one that helped me to come up with the financial model. He's the one that helped me to come up with the PPM. And what he did is he really kind of looked at our business, looked at Miss Lily and self-storage. And then we talked about like what we want the fund to become and what we want to do with the fund, what kind of facilities we want to buy at the fund. And so he really created the financial model based on that. He did really an awesome job. So I really appreciate him and all that he's done to help me grow my business. And I'm really excited about this. And we're like, we have 11 storage facilities, and we have been like, essentially we've been borrowing private money. I've been borrowing private money for 20 years, but essentially for 10 years. But for the storage, I've been doing it for 5 years, and we're 100% privately funded. So I'm not like a stranger to asking people for money, right? It's just that the fund is kind of new. And, so it's like, when you do something new, it's kind of like nerve wracking, right? And but like I've been pitching and asking people for money for many, many years. So I'm not nervous about that. It's just, like, it's a whole new thing for me. So, but let me just see if anybody else hopped on so I can say hi. Kevin is here. Okay, good. Kevin is from Atlanta. Becca is in Wyoming. Deb is from North Carolina. Awesome. Oh, and you hope to be the owner of my first storage facility soon. Good. I love it. Kyle from Fort Worth. Okay, we've got a lot of people say, hey, what's up? Somebody's from Denver. And what's the fund make? Does the fund make all the decisions regarding expansion, particularly the Franklin, Georgia Spooky deal? Oh, good. So you're in this one. Okay, good. Yeah, so a lot of people came over to this one from the last one, because I did talk about the Franklin deal and that. And I have somebody that keeps saying hi to me, but I don't know who. It doesn't, for some reason, like Zoom does not show you like the names. It just says your initials. So you could always put your name in and I would know who you are, because it's kind of hard to figure out who's writing me sometimes. So I apologize for that. Okay, cool. All right. So again, for everybody who does not know me, my name is Stacy Rossetti, and we own 11 storage facilities. We've been investing in self-storage for 5 years with my husband together, who is here. His name is Pete. And so I'll introduce, and actually Chris is here, and Rob is here, and Ariel is here too as well. She doesn't have to hang out if she wants to, but she's here. She's our team. She's my community manager for the Storage Nerd. So I got an totally awesome team. And I wanted to introduce you guys to them first, so that y'all knew that like we're real people, we're family-owned business, and we're here to just like find people that want to partner with us and invest with us, so that we can help you to grow your your wealth, and then at the same time we can buy more storage facilities as well too. So it's really a win-win situation for everybody. The Self-Storage Fund of America. And so I wanted to introduce first, let's say, so everybody who knows me as a teacher knows that I teach find them, fund them, run them, right? Find them, fund them, run them. So Chris is here as my acquisitions person, and he is the one that finds all the facilities. He's the one that found the Franklin deal. We're going to go over in just a minute. And then also the funding part is me. So that's me. I'm pitching here. I'm the one that finds the money. And then my husband is the manager. and he's the one that manages the company, and he has his whole team that manages all of our facilities, and his management team will also be managing the fund, right? So essentially we've created a management team inside of, with, a management team inside of our company, which will be managing the fund as well, the managing the fund's facilities as well. All right. And so, okay, good. And then also Rob is here. So I wanted to introduce Rob real fast. So I decided at the end, I decided last year that I wanted to hire a CFO, because I need a CFO, honestly. And then to the point, I'm to the point where I need a CFO. I need to be able to talk to somebody about my numbers in Miss Lillian self-storage, and then also with the fund. So I'm really excited to have Rob here, and he is going to help me to strategize what fits into the Self-Storage Fund of America and which funds we should be buying, and how to do all the back office stuff and manage all the quarterly payouts and the reports and all the kind of stuff that we have to do. So that is one of the things that Rob gets to do, and I'm really excited about that. And the other thing is on miscellaneous self-storage, he gets to look at our company and really tell us the health of our company. How can we, make more money? How can we decrease our expenses? How can we, be better at revenue management and be smarter about the deals that we buy? Which one should we sell? Which one should we keep? Should we 1031 exchange? What should we do? Should we refi out? What should we do with our property? So that is on the miscellaneous self-storage side. So Rob, why don't you just introduce yourself real fast? Say hi to everybody so everybody knows who you are, just in case.
Sure. Well, I think you covered a lot of it. But yeah, my name is Rob Thomas. I joined Stacy and Pete about a month and a half ago or so. Have a long history of CFO experience in many different industries, and I'm really excited to be able to jump into this, to be able to help with Miss Lillian, and then also to be able to help with the fund, any way I can from a financial and potentially even operational perspective. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think Stacy and Pete have a great thing going. I think, yeah, I'm really excited to be part of it and help again any way I can.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Okay, good. Okay, and then so now, like I said, find them, fund them, run them. So let's introduce Chris. Chris is the person that I hired over a year ago, and he trained with me, and he does exactly what I do, which is he talks to owners, and he drives for storage, and he finds all the storage facilities. We bought 6 facilities last year. He found 5 of them. I bought one of them from one of my students. And so, so Chris, why don't you introduce yourself real fast to everybody?
Hello, everyone. My name is Chris, Stacy's storage acquisitions person, and I've been working with Stacy and Pete for about a year. And I just want to second Rob on, I'm really excited with this fund and to see the growth of the business and the future of Miss Lillian. So yeah, just really excited and really grateful to be a part of the team. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Chris. Okay, finally then, Pete, my husband, will introduce himself. He's the one that manages our facility. So say hi, Pete.
Hello, good afternoon. So I'm Pete. I do the once Chris finds and Stacy funds the deal, that's kind of when I take over, getting everything set up through the closing, and then once we actually take over it, that's when we start managing it and raising rents and getting it occupied. That's what I do. That's what I do.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, good. Yeah, our daughter Lillian, her name is Lillian, and she has not been feeling very well today. She's been sick, so Pete's busy like taking care of her. And so yeah, so he'll be in and out. But anyway, so that is the team. And actually underneath Pete, he has his whole team that manages everything. So he doesn't do everything, but essentially underneath him, he has his team. And then Chris also has like some support underneath him to help him find all the deals. We do not have any problems finding deals, honestly. We just don't. Chris is so good at like talking on the phone to owners and meeting them. And I just get so many good compliments with from the owners. It's like, Chris is really a good guy. And they really much rather talk to Chris than me a lot of the times, you know? So I really kind of introduce myself and I say, look, I'm a real person. I just want you to know, like, I'm real, I'm here, but like, you know, you're more than welcome. Just talk to Chris. And they really kind of prefer talking to Chris over me anyways, which is good. So I get to delegate that to Chris. He does a great job. So we really have no problems with finding properties, and we will be finding quite a lot of properties this year because we are setting up an acquisitions team to really get out there and talk to more owners. So I'm really looking forward to that. On the acquisitions side, so we're focusing primarily, like, our facilities are in Georgia and Florida. That's where our facilities are, okay? And we've been doing this for 5 years, and you can just go to Google essentially and just search Miss Lillian self-storage, and then all of our facilities, I say most of our facilities would come up on Google, right? And we just bought a couple of them just like a couple months ago, so they may not be on Google Maps yet, but you could always check out Miss Lillian self-storage that way as well too. And so what we want to do, what I'm going to do today is just really go through the fund and kind of talk about it and kind of talk about where we're at. And I do a lot better personally if I just talk about it rather than going through like a presentation, but we do have a presentation, so we'll kind of sort of go through that. And I just want to explain to you like kind of how we got through this and what we're focusing on for the next couple of years. All right. So when we started in self-storage investing, like, we were basically like most of the people that get in self-storage investing. We really, like, you know, we in our mind, we thought that we could only afford so much. Right. So our very first facility that we bought was a small facility right around the corner from where we live. And actually, the truth is I was pregnant with Lillian at the time. And I really wanted to have passive income. And I just wanted to be able to stay home and take care of Lillian. And so when my realtor said, you know, hey, I have a, you know, there's a facility for sale, you know, right around the corner, I was like, oh yeah, I want to go check this thing out, you know, because I was thinking like passive income, let me just stay home and take care of Lillian. And so that's basically how it started for us. And in that first year, so we bought that facility and we named it Miss Lillian Self-Storage. And then after that, the next year, and that facility was a mismanaged facility, severely mismanaged facility. And we bought it for $250,000, and it's worth over $1 million, worth over $1 million now. And we really, but we had to manage it. We had to manage it properly and learn how to manage it properly. And also at the same time, learn how to manage it remotely, right? Because we didn't want to be like getting up and going to these facilities all the time. And, you know, with the baby and everything. So we got really, really good at just having everything completely virtual, completely remote. And I teach my students this as well too. You have to be electronic. You have to be, you know, you have to be able to run your facilities from anywhere in the world. And that's really what you call true passive income, right? And so we figured that out. And then the second year, towards the end of the second year, we bought another facility, which was a little bit, which was about the same size, maybe a little bit bigger. And then in the third year, we bought 3 facilities. So really, we bought one facility. We bought 1 facility in the first year, 2 facilities in the second year, and 3 facilities in the third year. So within like 3 years, we owned 6 storage facilities. All right, and we are completely virtual, completely electronic. Right. And then we basically manage our facilities from our office, but we do have our internal team that kind of manages those and have our boots on the ground people that go out and take care of our facilities for us. Okay. And then in the fourth year, I wanted to buy 4. I was like, I'm gonna buy 4 facilities this year. If I can do 3, I'll do 4, right? But we had 3 facilities under contract, and they all like and the owners backed out. And then we ended up not buying anything in the 4th year. Right. So then and then what happened too was that I was also focusing on coaching and teaching and stuff. So I was like, you know what, I need to hire an acquisitions person, because like I need to be able to focus on like, you know, running the business, and then have like somebody get out there and look for facilities and talk to owners. So that's when I hired Chris right towards the end of the 4th year. And it didn't even take him that long to start finding facilities. And so, you know, we got a facility under contract within the first 90 days that he started. And that year, so within the last year, we bought 6 facilities. So that's why we're up to like, we have so many facilities now, is because like, you know, that's kind of how our growth worked. Right. And so, and then Pete, when Pete was managing the facilities, essentially it started out with just us, you know what I'm saying? And then as we grew, we added, you know, Bonnie on, we added like, you know, it took us a couple of years to really get like some, you know, some support and stuff, but we basically vertically integrated ourselves. And now we have this team, which is like my husband, and then Bonnie, who's our operations person, and then like really our project manager. Really, that's what Bonnie does. Pete does all the like high level stuff. Bonnie does all the like the property management stuff. And then we have Patrick, who's our phone person, and he's the one that's like answering the phones and talking to the tenants and like doing the contracts and like making sure that, you know, everything's electronic, but like making sure everything gets paid, talking to the tenants and things like this. And then we have our boots on the ground person. His name is DJ, and he's like our regional boots on the ground person, because he goes to all of our facilities all across Georgia, literally from the North Georgia into the Florida panhandle, and he goes to all of our facilities twice a month. All right. And that's how we manage our facilities. So we've really kind of, I mean, honestly, internally, we've really systematized and automated out how we run our storage facilities, and we're getting really, really good at doing that. And we've made them not vertically, but virtual too as well, because, you know, we live in an RV and we travel full time, and we manage our storage facilities. And now we're trying to figure out where we want to park, and we're trying to figure out where we want to stay. So we're here in Texas right now. I'm originally from Texas, and we've been thinking about moving to Texas for a while. So that's why we have essentially, for the fund, we have like Texas, you know, we could be investing in Texas and looking in Texas all the way over to Georgia and Florida, because essentially we're in our RV and we're just driving back and forth from Texas to Georgia and Florida a lot. So it's like, okay, this is the area that we're going to be focusing in. So people are like, oh, well, how'd you come up in that area? That's the reason why. It's because we're doing a lot of traveling back and forth from Georgia and Florida and Texas a lot. Okay. And actually, because, you know, we find most of our facilities by driving for storage, right? So I'm driving along and I'm like, oh, that's a good one. And I'll let Chris know, and then he'll call the owner up and he'll talk to him, see if they want to sell. That's how we find our facilities. And so we're getting really, really good at that as well too. And so we are looking in Texas. I'm in Texas right now, actually. And, you know, I just took a whole group of students out this past weekend and did like an infill training day. And I mean, Chris, essentially our team found 60 storage facilities in the area that I'm staying in. And he called every single one of the storage facilities, and out of 60 of them, like 10 of them wanted to sell. Right. And so we just put like 5 offers into like 5 different facilities. And, you know, Chris has the magic touch. I think he just talked to the owners and they said, yeah, I'll be interested. Just bring me, you know, I'd be interested in talking to you. And I actually went over and met a couple of the owners, because I was right over here. I was like, we'll go over and introduce ourselves as well too. It was really fun. So like I said, the acquisitions part, we have that also down. I mean, we can find storage facilities to buy, all right? And we are good at managing them because we've been through the process for 11 storage facilities now, you know? So we're getting very good at that. And then I have been raising money for 10 years, because we've been investing in real estate for 10 years, and I have been pitching for money. We are actually 100% privately funded. So I have been pitching for money for 10 years. So I'm like very comfortable with pitching for money as well too. So I feel like internally we have a very good team. We have a very good thing that we can build over time. And we are looking for people to join us and build that with us, right? And, you know, help us to grow. So So that's kind of the back part of it. So now what we're doing, so what we do is we focused up until now, we focused on like the tertiary market storage facility. All right, tertiary market just means like in the country. Okay, and so we focus on smaller cities. Now, like in Georgia or Florida, like we don't go to primary markets, and typically we don't go to secondary markets unless they're kind of like small cities that have like nothing around them. All right. So for instance, like we invest in Valdosta, Georgia. Valdosta has 75,000 people in it. So it's not like a small town, but it's considered like really a secondary market because there's nothing else around it at all. Right. And so we look at areas like that. And then we also look in like smaller town, like also towns, like typically we're in like, we look at population of like maybe 5,000 to 100,000, something like that. Okay. And those are the areas that we look at. So, and we're here in Texas as well too. It's the same thing. Like all the areas that we've looked in, the towns are like a couple thousand people, what I'm saying? Not big towns at all. But there's a lot of storage facilities in this town. So I don't understand why you have like us, these people here, the mom and pops. Actually, that's what it's called, mom and pops in the area that want, we want to get into storage, or we want to buy storage facilities, but essentially like, we only have so much money, and privately funded or whether you have your own money, you only have so much money, right? But the thing is commercial real estate is expensive, right? So then you have also the bigger players. You have the bigger players that are like, 50,000 square feet or more is where you need to be because that's where you make the most money. And, that's all fine and dandy, but that's personally just not me and Pete's personality. We are like slow and steady wins the race. We're country folk. We like to live in an RV and travel around the country. Like this is kind of our thing. Like we want to be able to be virtual and hang out with our daughter. Like we don't want big, huge, corporations and stuff like that. So for us, storage is really lifestyle by design. And then making some money, it's making some passive income on the side and stuff like this. Okay. And what we've learned from over the course of the last couple of years is that the $1 million or less, right? This is where everybody's getting started. And like the $3 million or more, this is where you get out and you have like syndications and big, huge like funds and things like that. But then you have like the sweet spot, right? Which is like $1 to $3 million properties. And and you have two different types of properties within this area. You have like mismanaged facilities, you have income producing properties. Mismanaged facilities is what we buy. So we buy like storage facilities that are not managed properly. They're not making the income that they should be making, right? And there is a lot of value add to those, right? Or mismanaged facility could mean that like they don't have a P&L, they don't have a balance sheet, they have no proof of the income they're making. They're saying that they're making this much money, but the truth is like no bank is going to finance them because they have no proof, because they are only taking cash, and they're not putting it on the books, which essentially out of all the 11 facilities that we've ever bought, probably 8 of them are all this way. Like literally they have no proof of income at all. Okay. That's mismanaged facilities. Income producing properties are just that, like they are making money and cash flowing, right? And you see like within this $1 to $3 million, you'll come across income producing properties. We really just put an offer in for a guy here. He has 2 facilities. He's making about $200,000 to $250,000 a year on these facilities, and he wants to sell them. Now, those facilities would not fit into our fund because our fund model is mismanaged facilities, because our fund is created to model what we buy. Now, those facilities, I would never pass those up. I would put those under contract, and then I would go out and maybe like, find somebody to partner outside of the fund, or maybe sell them or wholesale them or something like this. But the fund is about mismanaged facilities. Okay. If you cannot provide me a rent roll, P&L, balance sheet, if it's not 100% full or 75% full or more, then it's considered, a mismanaged facility. Okay. And what happens is that the income producing properties, you can fund those by going to a local bank. You can go to SBA. I mean, everybody loves to fund storage, right? Because storage is like, recession resistant. I mean, it's making money in the upturn and the downturn. Everybody loves storage. There's hardly ever any foreclosures in like the storage facility world. There's just not. And like whenever there are, it's just like a scratch, like a cat bite or something, but there's just rarely ever any foreclosures. I mean, it's a very soundproof business. It just really is. And so that's why banks love to fund them. So income producing properties, we just go to a bank and get a loan, right? Just do that, okay? Or you could syndicate. But these mismanaged facilities that we come across, right, where like, for instance, our Franklin facility that we want to put into this fund, essentially, we have it under contract for $1 million. It's making $150,000 a year. I mean, it's valued at almost $1.5 million, but the owner is only taking cash. That's it. He has no proof of income at all, and he doesn't want to show proof of it. He said, my tax returns don't even really show anything at all. It's like, I'm not putting any money, I'm just taking cash, that's it. So you can't go to a bank and get a loan for that. So we come across these properties all the time. And for me, I don't want to pass up these types of opportunities. It's frustrating to me, right? So I either have to go and pool money together and try to get a lot of people to give me $1 million, or I start a fund. So that is the reason why I started the Self-Storage Fund of America, was because I don't want to pass up these amazing opportunities, right? And stabilize these types of facilities, and then refi out or sell them in a year to 2 years, right? It doesn't take a long time to really stabilize these to the point where we do have a P&L, we do have a balance sheet, we do have tax returns, and then we could just sell those and then move on to the next deal, right? It just doesn't I just don't want to pass up those opportunities. So that is why I created this fund. All right. And that is what the fund is for. And so I wanted to get into the fund so that you guys can look at the offering. I'm not going to go through the whole presentation because I did that in the last session, and I feel like it was a little bit too long. So I'm going to just go through all the offering, all the slides, and kind of and all the offering slides, and show you how it works, right? And how the fund works. And then I want to rather get into like the Franklin deal and show you this deal and show you kind of what we could be doing with this deal, and like what types of deals are going to fit into this fund. If that's okay with you guys, let me know in the chat. And then if you have any questions at all as I go through the fund and the fees and everything like that, then just let me know. Just put them in the chat. And this is the first time I've ever pitched a fund before, right? So please ask me any questions and I'll do my best to answer them. And if I don't answer them properly or things like that, then just email me. You can always email me at questions@stacyrossetti.com. That's our email, questions@stacyrossetti.com. And then I'll try to do my best to find out the answers for you as well too. So but let me just get into that. And yeah, and the website is self-storagefundofamerica.com. Let me do this, www.self-storage-fundofamerica.com. Okay. And then we can go from there. Okay. Let me see. So let me share my screen, and I wanted to just bring up this. I wanted to bring these slides up. Can you guys see this offering? Say yes, please, in the chat, somebody, so I know. Okay, thank you. Okay, husband said yes. Offering characteristics. Okay, good. So instead of me going through all of the slides of the presentation, I feel like these are the most important, like the meat of the fund, and then we'll go through that, and then I'll take you through the Franklin deal. Okay, so what we're trying to do is we're going to raise $7.875 million. So $7,875 million. Okay, I did not say that right. $7,875,000. All right, that sounds like a word that my daughter would say, like a number that my daughter would say, with the option to expand to $10 million. Okay, so we can, if we can go up to that. Okay, so the targeted investor IRR is 19%. All right, and the hold period is 7 years with 2 1-year extensions. So the hold year is 7 years, and then we can extend for 2 years. Okay. The preferred return is 10%. The remaining cash flow splits. There's like basically what this is called is the waterfall, right? Which is basically 2 different hurdles. The first hurdle is when we hit 10%. Essentially, we get to what we call the first hurdle. That allows us to have the 80-20 split, right? Up to the 15% mark. Okay. The second hurdle, we get 25%, and then the investors get 75%. And that's anything that's over 15%. Okay. So, and also we do have a co-invest. We have the co-invest as well too. So we are putting a little bit of money in as well. And I'll show you that here in just a second. The distribution timing is quarterly, right? So you will get a quarterly distribution, and then also reports on a regular basis on how the fund is doing, how the properties are doing. All right, and then also we'll get down here to this. The sponsor contribution and ownership. So the contribution is 4%. And the sponsor promote is, again, like we said, the 20%, right? After we hit 10%, up to 15%. And then after 15%, there's 25% promote to us, okay? The minimum investment is $25,000. And you have to be an accredited investor to invest, right? And the offering is a Reg D offering. Then I would like to go through the tiers of the waterfall or the hurdles. All right. So first, like I just said, when we hit the 10%, the 10% preferred return, then our co-invest would be at 4%, and the investor would be at 96%. We have nothing up to 10%. We get no promote at all. So we don't have any splits. So we have to hit the 10% in order to get the splits. Okay. After 10%, then there's the 15% IRR. The split is a 76-4 split, and the promote is 20% to us. And then on tier 3, all right, it's a 71% split to the investor, 4% to us, and a 20, because we have the 4% in essentially, and then the 25% promote to us. Okay, so we have an incentive to get the highest IRR that we possibly can, so that we can get more of a promote, if that makes sense. Okay, good. And then the also the fees include our management fee, which is 0.625% of the gross purchase price per year. There's an acquisitions fee, which is a one-time payment of 0.50%. There's no other fees outside of any development fees. So if we decide to add on, right, if we decide to, build, to value add and build more units, then we would get a 5% development fee and a 7.5% general contractor fee. Okay. Okay, and we've talked about this. This is the business strategy. So that is basically the offering. All right. So when you go to self-storage, fundofamerica.com, you'll be able to read all that, and then you'll be able to get the PPM, look at everything, look at all the documents and stuff. Okay. And then I wanted to get into the Franklin facility so that y'all can just kind of see like a typical facility that would be investing in, and just go through that as well too. Okay. Now I'd rather spend, more time on the facilities that are going to be invested in versus the presentation. So if you have any questions about the presentation at all, just let me know and I can answer all of them. And then also, thank you for asking that. Somebody asked, how do you become an accredited investor? So what's going to happen is when you go in to the website and then you click in that you're interested, like you're going to get, it's basically going to take you through how to become an accredited investor, right? So the back office of the website and like the application process and like, you know, to put your money in and stuff like this is all just right in that website, the self-storage fund. So just say, yes, I'm interested. And then you'll get access to the portal. And inside the portal, it's going to give you your step-by-step instructions on how to become an investor, how to invest your money, or how to become an accredited investor. Okay. And there's there's like basically like documents that you have to sign. So there's this kind of stuff. Okay. Let me see here. Okay, good. So let me share my screen here, and I'm going to get into the Franklin deal real fast and just go through that. I really this deal, and the reason why is because we own a storage facility already in Franklin, Georgia. Franklin, Georgia is a little town right outside, if anybody knows like Georgia. It's a little tiny town right on here's Noonan. Coweta County is honestly like one of the fastest growing counties in the state of Georgia. It's growing very, very quickly because there's room to grow. Here's a lot of room to grow. And it's only about like, you know, it's like maybe a half an hour drive to get to Atlanta. So it's a really good like suburb of Atlanta. And then the Franklin area is like a small area, just maybe 10 or 15 minutes, not very far away. I know it looks kind of far, but it's like maybe 15 minutes drive from Noonan. And as you can see, we own a facility in Franklin. We also own one in Noonan. And the two that I'm going to present to you today are also in Franklin. Okay. Franklin is a small town. Like the town itself is like super small. It's not a very big town, but the 10-mile radius of Franklin has like 20 to 25,000 people. So the radius, there is a lot of people in the area. It's just that the town itself is just like a little tiny area. You know, that's typical Georgia town, if anybody knows, like typical tiny little Georgia towns. But actually, it's just like, I mean, it's the same thing in Texas. I'm here in Texas and I'm driving around and there's like all these little tiny towns. They all have storage in them. But the radius of that town is like, there's a lot of people living in the area. So it's the same kind of concept. Okay. And so Franklin, Georgia. So the other storage facilities that we are looking at are in this area as well too. And actually, I think I might have, let's see if we have them in the, in here. Okay. So yeah, here they are. Let's see. So there's two facilities. One facility, I can't remember actually. One facility I think has like 60 units and the other one has 100 units. So it's total almost around 160 units. It's something like that, okay? And so as you can see, this is like, actually there's like a major highway right here. So this facility, I was like, I want to say major highway, but like, you know, a major county country highway. I don't know how you distinguish those, but it's a major road. So the facility is right on the road. It's got this commercial building right here, you can see, and then it's got the facility in the back. The facility itself is earning $1,500 a month. And he also does parking, like boat and RV parking in the front, and he makes $5,000 a year on that is what he does. So this is about $18,000 a year, and this right here is $1,500. I'm sorry, $5,000 a year. My fault. And then the storage facility here is I think this is the one that has 60, like roughly around 60 units. Okay, this is the very first facility that he built, because he built both of them himself. He built this one in 2017. The year that we bought our Franklin facility, he was building this one. He was actually building it, okay? And so this is this is a 5-acre lot. And I've already talked to the county and I said, you know, would it be okay? Actually, Chris called. I didn't do it. I shouldn't take the credit, but Chris called and asked, like, is it okay if we add on, if we buy these facilities? And they gave us a thumbs up and said, yes, you should be able to add on. Okay. So that is one facility. And the other facility is this one right here. And this is the has 99 units. This has 99 units. And this is also a 5-acre lot. So there's a lot of room to expand and grow. And the area is actually it's not like, it's very flat and stuff. So there's not a lot of grading or anything. So very good property with a lot of room to grow. Okay. So I want to just give you an idea, and I wanted to show you some pictures too. I pulled up some pictures here last time and pulled some pictures so y'all get an idea. And let's see. This is the one, and actually this one here is the one that he just built last year. It's a brand new facility. They're all gated. They have they have lighting, gates, they're all secured. So this is what Chris is taking pictures of. And as you can see inside with the electrical and then the internet and office. And this is like, you can tell it's like gravel and, typical looking storage facility, but very nice, very nice. Lots of land. He took pictures of lots of land. So this is what one of the facilities looks like. All right. And then on top of that, we have the other facility, which looks like this. And it's almost, and I'll show you a picture of the commercial building. This is the inside of the commercial building. Somebody's renting it for they do like eBay or something. And they just put all their stuff in here is what they do. And let's see. And here is you can see, here's the fence. Here's the commercial building. And it's got it does have an older, has an older HVAC unit, so we'll probably have to eventually replace that. And then here's what the commercial building looks like. It's a huge commercial building, and honestly, $1,500 a month is kind of low for this, but we know the people that rent this, and so we're not gonna be increasing the rate. Maybe over time, eventually we could, but I wouldn't really increase the rent. Also, it's a very small town, what I'm saying? So you don't want to you don't want to piss everybody off, so because it's really a small town. So we probably wouldn't come in and increase the rates on the commercial price, but we would increase the rates of the storage facility itself. And I'll show you that. It won't be actually very much. He is at the same rates that we are, and we're probably at the highest that probably at the highest. We're at the highest in the area, so it's not a lot of value add by adding increasing the prices, but a little bit, but definitely a little bit. Okay, I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything on this. Okay. Okay, good. So let me show you the numbers on this so you just get an idea. Okay. The property is under contract for $1 million, $1,050,000. The owner only takes cash, only cash. Okay. So what that means is that there's no P&L, no balance sheet, there's no rent roll. He has nothing. He cannot give us anything at all. In fact, I asked him what if I could get his balance sheet, and he was like, "What's a balance sheet?" Right? So he had no idea, which is typical. Honestly, it's typical out in this area. So we ran the numbers at an ACAP. He's making $126,000 just for the storage, and then on top of that, the 18.5 for the parking and the storage facility. The property taxes are going to come out to about $9,000. That's about $4,500 a year for both facilities. Very little, in utilities. The insurance will be about $3,500. Our expenses right here will cost about $27,000 a year to run the facility. Okay, and he is charging. It's 157 units at 18,000 square feet. He's charging 62 cents a square foot. We could possibly increase the rates anywhere from 65 to 70 cents a square foot. So if we put 65 in, and we will, and in fact, what we'll do is we'll increase the rates for all 3 of our facilities, and they'll be all the same. And we'll probably just increase them to 65 cents. That's a 5% increase. So it's really actually not too bad. Honestly, nobody's going to leave for that, And as you can see, the value of the property as is comes to $1.329 million. right? And then with our price increase, the value comes out to about $1.4 million. So we're buying it at really a 10 cap and taking it to an 11 cap is what we're doing. So a lot of not a lot of value add, but the goal is over time to be increasing the rates to 0.70%. And we're buying it already at $1 million. And it's really valued at valued at $1.5 million if over time, over the course of the year, to get it to 70 cents, and then to get it to 70 cents a square foot, it'll be valued at 1.5. So honestly, just by buying the property and then what we call stabilizing the property, we're already increasing the value by minimum $500,000. All right, that's not including if we decided to add on, right? If we decided to add on, the value of the property, right, it comes out here. So this, you can see, is the gross potential rents plus the other income. It comes out to about $150,000 a year, 147. And then these are our expenses, right? So it comes out to about $41,000 a year in expenses, plus the NOI, which creates the NOI, and the NOI is going to be around $100,000. So that is the number that you would be looking at. So, okay, what would be like the profit? You know, what would be the number that we're making, and what would we be splitting and stuff like that is right here. And as you can see, we're adding the other income in over here. Now, we have not calculated. This is just so that y'all can see, but this is the first deal I would like to fund. Right, this is the very first deal that I would like to fund, and I think it's a great deal. And our exit strategy is really to stabilize this thing and to get the rents to be as high as we possibly can. So we're shooting for 70 cents a square foot, not only for those two facilities, but also for the other facility that we own in the area. And then the goal would be within the next year, right, to maybe 2 years, something like this, we would sell that property. And then you guys would all get your money from that. Okay, so you would get the what you make, the profit from that. And so the and what we would do is we would add our facility, our Franklin facility, in and create this little tiny mini portfolio that we could sell that would really make that deal a lot sweeter, right? And so somebody coming in buying 2 properties is great, but somebody coming in buying 3 properties is even better, right? And so that would be the goal for us, is to really kind of like push that. So that's the very first deal I wanted to show you. And that's like, it's a typical looking deal. Those are the storage facilities that we buy typically, right? So this is what you're going to see us finding and buying. Now, this already is an income producing property, but it's not, it's mismanaged because you can't go to a bank and get a loan. So it's a little bit different than, like, say, finding something that's 50%, 50% full, and 50% vacant, and, so be a little bit different because we'd have to stabilize that more. But here, immediately on this property, you'd be able to get a dividend quite quickly because of like it being an income producing property. Whereas with the mismanaged facility that we buy, that's 25 or 50% full, it would take us a little bit longer to really stabilize that, if that makes sense. Okay. So that is, like, I wanted to show you a typical deal that we'd be looking at. And these are the types of deals that we find. And actually, these are almost exactly the type of deals that we just went and looked at last Saturday, and with all of our students. These are the exact same type of deals that we have all over the state of Georgia and Florida as well. Okay. And it would be very easy for us to manage that, because guess what? Our boots on the ground person already there taking care of our Franklin facility. So might as well run over and check on the other ones as well too, right? So I think that just to integrate that one as our first facility is really going to be a good first, go-getter. You know what I'm saying? Okay, good. Okay, so that's done with that. I would like to answer any questions that you guys have about the fund, or about the facilities, or anything else that you have as well too. So let me know. And also, again, just go to self-storage fundofamerica.com. So self-storage fundofamerica.com. And then you would just say, yes, I'm interested, and I'll approve you. And then you will start getting access to all the information, check everything out. Okay. Okay, good. Let me see. We have a question here. Why would you not expand these facilities considering the possibilities? Why leave that land unutilized? Yeah. So that is something that we could do. I mean, we could do that, but honestly, typically we really don't we don't add a lot of, we don't do a lot of value add. We usually our value add is really let's increase the rates, let's stabilize the property because we buy mismanaged facilities. We do have one facility right now that we are going to be adding more units onto over in the Florida Panhandle. This one we could be doing, but my idea too personally was yeah, we could do that. We could get out there. It's going to take it would take a year or so to get out there and build and add all that on. Why not just let that be another reason that would entice the buyer to come in and pay more money for this? And remember, I ran those numbers at an 8 cap. I ran those numbers at an 8 cap. And actually, if you look at the NOI, that NOI really comes out to a 10 cap. And we're taking it to 11 cap and we can sell it at an 8 cap. You know what I'm saying? We can sell it at 7 or 8 cap. So my idea really, I know it might not make a lot of sense, but my idea in my mind is why not stabilize it, get it up and running, get it to the price that it's supposed to be, get it, get it to where we can sell it at a 7 or an 8 cap, add my storage facility right into the bundle, and then also allow the buyer to come in and allow them to be able to build on, because a lot of buyers want value add. But if I'm selling it at 70 cents a square foot, the price is going to be hard for them to do. It's an income producing property that's just producing income, right? The value add is going to be oh, guess what? I get to add more property, so I can do that. And there's a lot of investors out there. That's what they want to do. They value add by adding more properties. So we entice them, and that is what we do. We're enticing them for that, to come in and pay the money to buy this thing and pay even more money for that. I feel like we can sell this at really higher than, especially if I throw mine into the mix, we can sell this at quite a good amount of money, honestly. So I think it's gonna be a really good return for everybody. But I hope that makes sense. Okay, let me see. Somebody says, well, yeah, okay. You always boast about value add. I'm trying to understand. Yeah, so keep your effort. Exactly, there you go. Value add for me is raising the rents. That's why I like mismanaged facilities, because all I have to do is raise the rents, and then we get you can triple the value of the property. Now this one, obviously you can't raise the rents that much, right? You can only raise the rents a little bit. So the entice on the back end to sell is going to be them being able to value add with the new construction, if that makes sense. Okay, good. Okay, also, slide 5 says 7-year hold plus extension, but the last issue said that. I think it's supposed to be it's a 5. Actually, Rob, can you check that? I'm pretty sure it's a 5-year hold with a 2-year extension.
It is a 5-year with 2 1-year extensions.
Okay, thank you, Rob. Yeah, so I think the slide is incorrect, so I'll correct that for the next presentation. But it's a 5-year hold with 2 1-year extensions. So thank you for that, David. And it's self accreditation. So if you go through the process, you'll be able to accredit yourself. Okay. And sorry, he's talking about inside the portal, just so everybody knows. Okay, Franco, why would you not expand these facilities considering? Okay, we already got that with Franco. Why'd you? Okay, good. We got that answered. Okay, good. So 506C Reg D fund means that you have to be an accredited investor, but I want you to not be shied away from that. I want you to go into the portal and look at what they're doing, because to become an accredited investor is really not that big of a deal. All right, so I don't want you to be afraid of those words. Okay, just I want you to at least go in and look at the portal and check everything out. And if anything, just have it as an education experience. Okay, how does a fund look and what does it look like? And really educate yourself. Okay, too as well. Can you use yourself to? Yes, you can use your self-directed IRA for the fund as well too. So if you do have money, you can do this as well too. So just talk to your custodian and let them know that you want to invest money from your self-directed IRA into the fund. Okay, and they will show you how to do all that paperwork as well. Okay. Okay, good. Awesome. Well, I appreciate everybody coming and hanging out. I know it's my first couple times to get out there and pitch and stuff, and I promise I'll get better, but because that's what we do, right? But I'm here to answer any questions. So it's questions@stacyrossetti.com, and all you have to do is go to the portal, ask for a permission. I'm going to approve everybody tonight so y'all can get in there and look. If you have any questions about anything, just email me and I'll let you know. And like I said, oh yeah, and I forgot to tell y'all, the Franklin facility, we are going to be closing in the first 30, like within the next 30 days, we're closing this thing. And really, when the people that come in the beginning, because right, your distribution is based off when you come into the fund. So you want to get into the fund as soon as you possibly can, right? So that we can get this, first of all, we can get out there and close. And then second, you can become part of this and start earning the money based on the date that you come into the fund. Okay. Okay, good. I appreciate your time. Thank you for hanging out. And let me see. I got one more question that just popped up. Let me make sure I didn't miss that. I will not be taking on any debt. Well, if I found an income producing property that could take on debt, I could take on debt. Yes. So if I find a property that could possibly be funded, then I might possibly take on debt. But as of right now, the ones that we have under contract are all mismanaged facilities that you cannot go to a bank and get funded. So yeah, at all. Okay, so but if I happen to find something that's say like 75% full or 60% full, those may be able to get funded by, may be able to be funded by a bank. So I could use the fund for debt, yes, and then go and get a loan from a bank, and then just use the money for the fund for the down payment or something like that. I could definitely do that. But as of right now, the ones that we are finding are the ones that are in that sweet spot, the mismanaged facilities in that sweet spot. Okay. Let's see, is there a deadline on when we have to invest or when no, you can invest at any time. All right. So it's the point of when you become an investor is when like you start earning the money, right? So the further in and then that's we basically, I don't know, Rob, can you explain that better than me? Or no? When they come into the deal, how does it work?
Well, so we have a minimum amount that we need to raise before we can close the fund. And we need to be, the fund needs to be closed before we can make that first investment. Yeah. And so all of I think that what we talked about the other day would be, to get a commitment for your funds. And then on the date that we would close the fund, basically do a capital call from everybody to put the funds into the escrow account that you've given the commitment for. Yeah, and then we could go from there and make the first initial investment from there, and then have subsequent closings as we go throughout the period.
Yes. Thank you for bringing that up too. Yeah. So if you're like, I really want to invest in the fund, but I can't invest in the fund until I sell my house or whatever, my property that I have, then just let me know so I can at least kind of keep a tally. We can keep a tally of this, and then I could see, and I could just keep track and say like, okay, now we're going to do another call for funding, because essentially as we come up with properties, we'll do another call for funding. I'm going to be pitching every Monday just because I want to practice and get it out and start building it up. But if we come up with the property, in April, I'll do a call, and then we'll do we'll pitch it again as well too. Okay. But the goal is to get the money in as soon as possible. Okay. That's the goal. But you can always make a commitment if you want to, right? So, just talk to me. I'm open to talking to people too as well. Just email me and we'll figure it out. Okay, good. Another question. Yes. Okay, good. I think we got everything. Anybody else, just email me, and I really appreciate y'all hanging out with me tonight and coming and visiting visiting and listening to me. Okay. Take care and have a good evening, and we'll talk soon. I'll see you soon. Bye.